Yes, it's raining. It's dreary, muddy, just like it was on May 27th, the night on 1754, that George Washington, then a lieutenant colonel of Virginia militia, led 40 of his men and 8 Indians to surround a small encampment of approximately 35 French soldiers from what was then being built as Fort Duquesne at the forks of the Ohio, where the Monongahela and the Allegheny come together. Tenacrison, an Indian chief called a half-king for being the representative of the Iroquois in this area, and also called a Mingo, alerted Washington to the presence of these French soldiers who had camped below these rocks directly behind me, posting no sentries, simply drying off from the wet slog of reaching this area. Were they here to warn off Washington, to tell Washington to leave, just as Washington had done the year before when he traveled here with Christopher Gist to warn the French off? It was going to be an episode short in duration but long in effect. For without sentries, this Glen, wooded and surrounded by short cliffs, allowed the Mingo warriors and Washington's men to surround this small encampment. And when daylight broke, a shot was fired. Was it Washington's shot? For that volley, which lasted only 15 minutes, started a fire around the world, according to Walpole. There were 12 deaths on the French side, only one regular and perhaps an Indian. But the important death was the death of Ensign Jumonville, who claimed that he was here on a diplomatic mission and was pleading wounded before Washington to stop the massacre. According to some reports, it was at that time that Tenacrison, the half-king, the Iroquois representative in these areas of what we call the Ohio Territory, came forward with his hatchet, burying it in Jumonville's skull, killing him, and watching the rest of his corps of Native Americans scalp the French dead. There was one Frenchman who escaped, and he reported back to Fort Duquesne what had happened. And the French from Fort Duquesne marched on Washington, and Washington retreated to the second great battle of his very young career, where he erected a very poorly placed stockade, Fort Necessity, perhaps as poorly placed as a French encampment here, and from which he would be required to sign articles of capitulation after losing 100 men wounded or killed when he was attacked by the French. And he claims he never knew that the French terms included a statement that he signed indicating that he had assassinated Jumonville, who was a diplomatic envoy from France. Quite an inauspicious beginning for the general that would lead these colonies to freedom from the British.